Good afternoon, my fellow youngsters. Talking about nationalism again, it close to the loyalty. When you hear the word nationalism, most of the people will think about the soldiers and veterans, right? Soldiers who combat in the battlefield to show their loyalty to the country. But how about now? Unfortunately, the degradation of nationalism exists among our societies and especially youngsters. But on this page, I won't highlight the degradation of nationalism itself, but I will highlight the solution for this issue. Because I do believe that we should not waste our time by regretting the situation. We should face this problem and moving on. My fellow youngsters, globalization is everywhere. Countries are connected without any borders. Life becomes more modern with the discovery of advanced technology which grows faster. The challenges to be part of the global will be even harder. For example, like free trade, battle of knowledge, and cyber attack. This is the modern combat, guys. This is the real war that we face in the real world. The question now, how do we fight on it? How to raising our nationalism and even show our loyalty to the country? I have a great way to deal with it. I call it speak with height and weight. Speak in English through technology. Speak here is not only speaking like what other people do in general, but I refer on to program. Speak, S-P-E-A-K. The first is S. S refers to speaking English with a strong integrity, self-confidence, and a clear vision. Nationalism can be defined by being a young ambassador as an effective communicator and a great leader for positive changes. English is a universal language, so when you can understand and communicate well in English, then getting information from another part of the world with a high-end technology would be an easy task. And guess what will happen? The world is in your hand. P. P refers to patriotic spirit. Show that you are proud of your country and say to the world that I'm from Indonesia and I'm proud of it. E. E refers to earning lots of knowledge and achievement. Mahatma Gandhi ever stated that learn as if you were living forever. All of the knowledge that we earned would never be wasted because all of our effort would never betray us. With this knowledge, we can join and win the international scope competition and bring the name of the nation to the world. Imagine, we can also understand the newest research and programs and apply it in our country. It will be modernization in many important sectors, such as technology, public facility, education, then political and military through English. Then Indonesia will be ready to compete with other countries through English and technology. A. A refers to attitude. Indeed, because a person who is polite never fails to spread their charms. As an Indonesian who is well known with a friendly manner, high courtesy, and culture, we should be proud to share all of those in the global village. We can also maximize the use of technology to introduce our country, which is famous by its slogan, Unity in Diversity. We can introduce not only the culture, but all aspects of Indonesia. And at last but not least is K. K refers to keep the spirit. Everything will not be perfect until you put some spirit on it. From time to time, civilization will change and bring both of positive and negative impact to our lives. From economic factor, we should be ready to face the economic challenge. We should be ready also to face the technology innovation and be innovative in order not to be left behind or fooled by other countries' technology. We also should be ready to join the battle of knowledge and face the cyber attack bravely. Unyielding spirit and face the challenge is our greatest weapon. S-P-E-A-K. So now let's speak. Speak your international mind to the world, let the world hear. Don't show your nationalism in a pathetic way, because we can show that we are Indonesian who are having high values in the international scope. So guys, what are you waiting for? Let's be a young ambassador as an effective communicator and a great leader for positive changes in our beloved country, Indonesia. Be proud of Indonesia and make Indonesia proud of you. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention and have a good day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu. I'm using 3 different of greeting in purpose because I would like to represent my beloved country, Indonesia, with its slogan, Unity in Diversity. Talking about Indonesia, right now, our country, Indonesia, already facing a very, very hectic problem. Well, we can classify it as a problem, and it's called globalization. In this globalization era, I do believe that everything is in a rush. Imagine, for example, if you are a mother, but you are also a businesswoman, and you have 3 crying children, and it's already 30 past 6 a.m. in the morning, and you should drive all of them to school. But at 7 a.m., you should also attend to your office because there is a very important meeting with your boss. It will be very hectic, isn't it? Actually, you can make it. Because this era, the transportation is very easy. For example, you can use busway or car, but there is something which is hinder you for attending this meeting, and it's called traffic. Yes, my fellow youngsters, traffic is already being not only a mushrooming, but also a disturbing problem in our country, Indonesia. That's why we should solve this problem immediately. Because in this era, time is very precious. Time is money. And talking about hectic, actually there is a symbol which is very famous related with hectic condition or situation. It's called SOS. In America, perhaps SOS can be classified. The meaning of SOS is perhaps save our soul. But on this page, I would like to inform you about the new SOS, the Indonesian version of SOS to solving the traffic jam problem. So, S stands for socialization. Actually, most of the traffic jam itself caused by the people of Indonesia. For example, people who carelessly parking in everywhere. Instead of parking their motorcycle or their car in the parking lot, they are parking in front of the bookstore, in front of the school. Then no wonder that traffic is happening everywhere. Or perhaps there are some of the motorcycle rider who ride their motorcycle but not in the road that belong to them, but belong to the busway. Again, of course, the traffic jam will happen. So here's the government should educate the people first, socialize them about the importance of obeying the rules on the road to avoid the traffic jam. When we are already socialized the people, then the people will understand. The people will be educated, and then our people, without no hesitation, for sure will be ready to obey all the rules on the road in order of avoiding the traffic jam. And then O stands for organizing the public facility. As all we know that sometimes it is also the road in Indonesia is already holy, or for example there are some of the road which is very inappropriate to use again. So actually the government also should support the facility by giving a brand new facility to the people. And at last but not least is S. S stands for several times or frequently. Rome was not built in a day. When we want to solve a problem, it's not like we are making Indomie, which is only 3 minutes, right? When we want to solve the problem, perhaps it takes a long term. But believe me, that the result is worth it. So the government should do this proposal not only once, but several times. And my fellow youngsters, life is sometimes just like the traffic light. Sometimes the light turns red, which means that we should stop. Stop here is not only stop and doing nothing, but stop here is stop and analyzing. What is the problem? And then sometimes the light turns into yellow. Yellow means that we should slow down to check if our regulation is already right. And sometimes the lights turn green. Green means this is the show time, guys. This is the time when we should stop this problem right now, right here. But we as a people also should help the government and work together with the government. We cannot blame all of the problem to the government because there is no country that falling down from the sky. It takes commitment, trust, and hope from the people. But not only from the people, but also from the government. We should work hand in hand to make a better Indonesia for all of us. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Almighty God and to the honorable judges and for all of my friends in here. Thank you for the time that's given to me. In this precious time, I would like to deliver my speech about the bad impacts of online shop towards the conventional store in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, first I want to define between the online shop and the conventional store itself. And when you ask me about what is the easy explanation about online shop, so online shop is a place in internet where the buyers can meet with the sellers but not directly, and sometimes in here they do a transaction. Whereas the conventional store is a place that have a real building where the buyers can meet with the sellers, and this is same with online shop that they do a transaction too. Now I invite you to see the data that telling us about 30% or 82 billions of citizens in Indonesia using internet nowadays. And use of internet via gadgets has replaced the manual system of economics. And ladies and gentlemen, in this case, I will talk about the bad impacts of online shop towards the conventional store in Indonesia. E-commerce is a very benefit business people can take on this era. Because of internet, we can easily accept our order in front of our doorstep. And just imagine how fast to buy goods via online shop. Some of people may be reluctant to go to stores because the online shop seems to be the convenient way for buying goods. And from this case, we should realize that the online shop sometimes gives harmful impact for the conventional store itself. And what kinds of impact? The first is decrease the number of customers on conventional store. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that the online shop sometimes has an easier way to shop than the conventional store. Why? Because we can choose the stuff without we come or meet with the seller. And with lower price, we already get the same stuff like the conventional product. Do you know that this is accordance with character of Indonesian people who prefer with the price than the product itself? And then the second is the decrease of sales. Ladies and gentlemen, on my second point, it still have a close connection or relation with my first point. Why? Because if the customers decrease, so the sales will be decreased too. Rapidly rising online sales and modestly growing space causing reduced sales density. If the sales decrease, so the profit on online shop on conventional store will decrease too. If the profit decrease, there will be a stagnancy in here. And the last or the third is bankruptcy. Just imagine when the online shop developing faster and faster, the conventional store should be able to cope with it. And we know to cope with it, they will use their investment more to open their new channels. To open their new channels, they will use their investment more and more. And if it is done continually, their investment will be gone. Thus, they will go bankrupt. Ladies and gentlemen, we already see some impacts of online shop toward the conventional store in Indonesia. And in here, we need a solution to solve this problem. So we shouldn't vanish neither the online shop or the conventional store itself. But let's make them grow in the society, but remember, still in billions. What kinds of solution? The first is, as we know, that the government still doesn't have any strict rules for the online shop to pay the taxes. Whereas the conventional store should pay their own taxes. And in here, the government should give the strict rules or the same rules like the government gives to the conventional store. And the second is, there must be balance in numbers. The numbers of online shop should be balanced with the numbers of conventional store. Therefore, the government must limit the number of online shop in Indonesia. Before I end my speech, I want to share something to you. Ladies and gentlemen, something that is too much is not good. Something that is too little is not always good too. let's connect this philosophy with the problem that we are facing right now. If I ask you, should we balance every job sector? I said yes. Should we be open-minded? I said yes too. So let's change it. And that's all my speech today. Good afternoon. Thank you for your attention. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Almighty God and to the honorable judges and for all of my friends in here. Thank you for the time that is given to me. In this precious time, I would like to deliver my speech about the use of social media as teaching learning process facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, the globalization changed everything in the world. It's not only in the big world, but also in Indonesia too. And maybe some of us think that the globalization always gives bad impact. But don't be so close-minded, because we should open our eyes that sometimes the impacts was very useful for the education. And the impacts of social media hit every sector in Indonesia. It's not only about economic sector, but also education too. And in here, I agree with the use of social media as teaching learning process facilities. Why I brief to say like this? Because first, it is funny if we as the Indonesian people doesn't want to follow the new era or doesn't want to follow the globalization nowadays. But in here, let's use the globalization for a great generation by using it for study in the school or in home. And second, we should to be thankful in here because social media is your way to use to explore some of knowledge in internet. And ladies and gentlemen, how come to make our goal is success? The first is the government in Indonesia gives rules or subsidy like the internet connection or the computer for every school in Indonesia. And the second, there's a tight control from the teacher or from the government, so the students in the school know what is the function of the internet in the schools or of the computer itself. And then just imagine when you are a teenager and when you are a student, you are so smart. You can do anything. You are smarter than anyone. But when you do not want to follow the globalization and you do not know anything about the technology, so after you have a competition in outside, you will lose with your friend or with other foreigners. And then, so here, if this is success, I believe the use of media social is not only about for uploading your selfie photos or another thing, but in here we can use media social for education as teaching learning process facilities. That's all my speech today. Good afternoon and thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable educators and the participants of English speech and the entire audience. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let's express our great gratitude to God Almighty, who has given us this occasion, so we can gather here in good conditions with no less anything as we are standing whole today. Also, I would like to thank the educators for giving me this chance so I could deliver my speech themed The Degradation of Nationalism in Indonesian Society. Ladies and gentlemen, degradation means decline to a low, destitute, and demoralized state. Meanwhile, nationalism is devotion or loyalty toward the nation, especially a sense of national consciousness, exalting one nation above all others and placing primary emphasis as opposed to other nations and supranational groups. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, we can conclude that degradation of nationalism is action or behavior that indicate deterioration of nationalism and lack of awareness being a part of a society. Ladies and gentlemen, nationalism plays a role in a nation as nationalism introduces national identity as well as a bond, a tight bond between national identity with its people, with the people of a country. In fulfilling a country's importance, it will always need what we call nationalism. Like our founding fathers clearly state that nationalism is colonized people's pillar of power to gain their independence. No matter how great a country is, if the people don't have spirit of nationalism, well, the country will be so easily swayed. Is Indonesia a great country, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, but are the people of Indonesia aware of the importance of nationalism? Well, not recently. And that's why I chose the theme, the degradation of nationalism in Indonesian society as the theme of my speech in front of you all. Ladies and gentlemen, nationalism and solidarity is also essentially a manifestation of the 1945 constitutions, namely that this nation should be framed in fraternity. In the preamble of 1945 constitutions, our founding fathers clearly formulated that a nation stands on the grace of God Almighty and driven by the noble desire to live the nationality freely. But nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, our nationalism is currently at its lowest point, where we can see there is so many crises of humanity, like a handful of state apparatus continue to who greedily steal the wealth of their own nation, like Century Bank, PLBI, Kasus Sambalang, and etc. Is that what we call nationalism? Well, it's really not. But these conditions cannot be separated from their egoism and their disloyalty toward this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, just like a misguided motto, but widely used, the higher, the better, the more, the faster, and the richer. This motto diminishes and fades the spirit of our nationalism. Some sort of things that cause this degradation from the government comes at first. The government, in this case represented by the politics apparatus, continue to defraud us with what we call as corruption, embezzlement of state funds, and state apparatus abuse of power. And the second, from the families and neighborhoods behaviors that don't reflect the spirit of nationalism. And the third is democratization across the line. Lack of ethics and manners, as well as the risk of anarchic demonstrations, have caused the frustrations among the people. And the fourth is the emergence of ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism, which regards a tribe is better than the other tribes, then making people exalting it and exalting the national unity. Ladies and gentlemen, the solutions that must be made to bring back the spirit of our nationalism from the family as the smallest part of a society. The family should educate and give their children example how to love, how to respect what they can give for these nations, and educate their children character educations. From the government should organize activities which can enhance the society's spirit of nationalism, like seminars and cultural behaviors. And the second, bring back the people's trust toward the government by repairing the bad image of state apparatus, by eradicating crimes and eradicating corruption. And the third, adopt the spirit of this country's founding fathers in defending this nation's unity with selflessly, unconditionally, and sincerity. Ladies and gentlemen, nationalism is how we respect our country and proud of calling our homeland's name and what we can do, what we can give for these nations. Ladies and gentlemen, things that need to be considered is not how much we lose our nationalism from our society, but rather how long it takes to bring back the spirit of nationalism. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the ethical dimension of spirituality of nationalism, which reflects the spirit of Indonesian national awakening, kebangkitan nasional Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, well, I think that's how we work on these occasions. Thank you very much for your attention on my speech, and I'm deeply sorry for the mistakes I probably made in my speech as well. See you in other occasions. Good afternoon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable adjudicators of SMA 2016, the participants of English speech, and the entire audience. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let's express our great gratitude to God Almighty that have given us the occasion so we can gather here in nice conditions with no anything as we are setting whole today. Also, I would like to thank the educators for giving me this chance so I could deliver my speech and standing here about the advantages of computerized-based national exam in remote area. Before, I would like to deliver the definition of the national exam. national exam commonly abbreviated as Ujian Nasional (UN) is a system of standard evaluations of primary and secondary educations, remotely equal in equality educations. Well, the remote area. Remote area is a location or region which is the location is so far or far from the capital of a particular region. Meanwhile, that remote area don't have enough resources or equipment that could support the development of the technology. And this system, the computerized based, makes the students from the remote area will understand what is computer, how to operate computer, and don't think that the remote area is so far from the capital city. Then do not send the computers because the remote area students is not understand computer. It's not like that. Because they are remote, because they are far from technology, then we should touch them with what we call as technology, like computers. Well, the computerized based is a national exam that's conducted through the medium of the computer. Well, some advantages. The first is minimize and decrease the possibility of cheating. Not like the computerized based. Not like the paper-based test that the students could cheat. The student could look at the other students' answers, but with the UNPK or computerized based national exam, it will minimize and decrease the possibility of cheating. And the second, in remote area where not all the students know about computer, are not all about technology and how to operate the computer, then with this computerized based test, we can touch them. We can give them the knowledge about the technology, about the new era of technology by using computer. Well, the third, the integrity is high and it's really hard to cheat through the computerized based test. And the fourth, reducing the amount of paper that will be used when our government held an exam using paper. We also know that there is so tons of paper will be used each day when we hold the national exam using through the paper. Maybe 1 ton or 2 tons paper a day, but with this computerized system, the paper will not be needed. So the budget of allocating to the papers can be given to the budget of repairing the infrastructures and give the remote area students how to operate technology and give them knowledge about technology by giving this computerized based system. And the announcement would be faster. Would be the announcement of the value that the students will get from the computerized based test will be faster than the paper-based test system. And the last is the computerized based test facilitate the provision of security and logistical, which is the locations of remote area is far from the center of a particular region, which is that helps the many students of the remote area will know about computer. They know about how to operate computer in this globalized world. In this globalized, like every culture from the other countries tries to absorb to a country which is in this globalized world. Everyone should know about technology. Don't say that they are so remote, they are so far from the center of a particular region. But don't think that it's too far. So don't use computer. Just use use paper. But this computer-based test will they know about what is computer and how to operate. And this will eventually to prepare the students, to prepare our peoples to face the threat of our globalization by holding this computerized based test. Well, I think that's all we can tell on the occasions. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.